Get ready. Get ready. You are about to join the crypto revolution. The crypto revolution. This is the Crypto Mastery Podcast with Kevin Jones, where we talk about the future of money and elevate your knowledge in the space.
What's up, everyone? This is Kevin Jones, builder and educator in crypto, and this is the Crypto Mastery Podcast, where we talk about the crypto industry and elevate your knowledge in the space. This podcast is brought to you by SpeedRunEthereum. Test your skills and learn how to build decentralized applications on Ethereum at SpeedRunEthereum.com. Today, I will be speaking with Shaka Lei Kaumaka. Shaka is an artist who loves blockchain and positive change. He is of Hawaiian, Chinese, Portuguese, and Dutch descent. Music is his first language, and he is a volunteer at various crypto events and hackathons such as ETH Global, where he can be seen and heard jamming tunes and pulling all-nighters with fellow hackers. He believes with blockchain we are headed in the direction of unification and liberation of the human organism, further evolving in the creation of a more inclusive and sustainable ecosystem. All right, let's get into this. Let me pull Shaka onto the stream. Shaka, thank you so much for coming on. It's so great to see you. It's been a while since I saw you. Merry Christmas and welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on.
Aloha and Merry Christmas. Yeah, thanks for having me, Kevin. This is awesome.
Aloha.
Cool gift.
So yeah, what's new? Like what have you been up to? How's your holiday been? What have you been up to the last few weeks?
Last few weeks, I've been thankfully able to slow down. I house sat for my parents a little bit, and then that led to me spending Christmas at their place. So I'm currently at my parents' house, like a true DGen, staying in my mom's basement again. I haven't known my mom's basement, but it's just a temporary thing because the last year I did the whole nomad thing, as you know. So was recently and saw you in San Francisco for ETH SF, and then was in Art Basel during the art festivities in Miami, and then from there, I came back to Colorado, and I've been doing a little bit of scouting and found a location where I'm going to be doing back-to-back weekends, doing open jams during ETH Denver.
Oh, that is so cool.
Using the advantage of being in Denver.
Yeah, I'm really excited for ETH Denver. I'm going to try to go. Some of you listening might know I have a baby on the way, so we'll see if it happens. But hopefully, I'll see you in Denver. Oh. That would be great, and I'll catch some pictures of you jamming.
Oh well, you'll be there in spirit if you have to be there for your new child. That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you. So
I did know that actually.
Oh yeah, yeah. So for people that don't know you, what's your story? Like, where'd you grow up? How did you get into kind of like the crypto space? And kind of how did you get into music? Because I know music's a big part of your life.
Yeah. Well, my mom is from Hawaii and met my dad at Denver University. So I was actually born in Colorado. And would often go spend time with my grandmother and in Hawaii. And she gave me my first ukulele when I was a kid. But my dad always had a guitar in the closet, so I kind of figured out a couple chords from him and my cousin when I was growing up as a kid, and pretty much just started playing music when I was in high school. But then came college, I decided to study music and realized that I couldn't read music, so then I ended up dropping out of music school and kind of went the route of spending some years, and I spent a year in Africa, and then and winded up doing public good work, charity work that led me to being in downtown Denver for 2 summers, doing some work serving the homeless people with meals, and then that actually opened up a door to get a job with my favorite band, Dispatch, doing they did a big event at Madison Square Garden to give some notification. Their theme that year was Hunger in America, and they actually raised a lot of money through those MSG shows, and that was kind of like my first volunteer opportunity. I was a volunteer coordinator for Denver, and then got to be involved with the show in New York. And Brad then invited me to Nicaragua, where I ended up living for 5 years until the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And actually, while this is kind of a fascinating point, but while on tour with Dispatch in 2018, we had the opportunity to do a charity event, and it was actually kind of a dual event. I was working for the band on Summer Cruise, but then working for a charity involved with one of the members, Brad Corrigan. So I was working for Love, Light, and Melody, and they were selected to be a beneficiary in this big fundraiser in Palo Alto, put on by a guy named Pete Brigger, who used to be Mike Novogratz' partner. And so there's a lot of big tech guys, and there's this really cool guy that we got to meet that weekend named Wences Casares, and he's the CEO of Zappo, which is one of the big Bitcoin banks, and he invited us over to his house the day after the fundraiser. He invited Brad and Chad Dispatch, and I got to go along because I was driving the Uber. I was a road dog and got really spoiled that day, but he took us up to his house on top of the mountains in Palo Alto, and he's from Argentina, actually. So he grilled us some steaks, Argentina style. Go Argentina. And then we shared a steak in the middle. And he had a very fascinating story, but I was kind of gathering that he had gathered his wealth through cryptocurrency. And naively, living in Nicaragua at the time, teaching music, I go, "Hey, Wences, what's a Bitcoin?" And he explained to me what blockchain technology was. Now, rumor has it, he doesn't like to talk about it too much because he's a very humble and amazing guy, but I think he was one of the guys that also explained blockchain technology to guys like Bill Gates, Chamath Palihapitiya. He's very influential. He went very much into blockchain early 2012, but also was one of the first internet developers in Argentina back in the day. And he actually said that he saw his family lose their life savings a few times because of the failed banking system in Argentina, that made him fully convicted in blockchain when he was introduced to it. Not to mention he was already a very successful tech entrepreneur. When he was introduced to it in early 2012, he just knew because of that experience with his family losing their savings 3 times. And it's so beautiful. LATAM, there was a huge outgoing in Argentina. I think Vitalik was there during the World Cup. We can get into it a little later, but I was an EF scholar, and there was like 4 people from Argentina also who were DEF CON scholars. So Latin America, Argentina, all the way up to Mexico. Let's go.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I've seen you at a few Ethereum LATAM events, right? We were in ETH Mexico and Bogota, right? So yeah, you've been all over, and that's really cool. Like, it's cool to see that like your journey has kind of taken you like on this kind of like pathway towards like, these Ethereum events and stuff like that. But even along that way, you were doing a lot of stuff for like public goods, and a lot of like the things that you made decisions as far as like how you were going to like, lead the path of your life were all around like helping other people. And I think that's still the case, right? Like crypto is a means for like helping people that can't get access to banking, or want to like do an alternative way of managing their money where they have more control. So that's really cool, man. That's a really cool story. And as far as like I know I see you a lot of at ETH Global events, and you volunteer and you do a lot of music there. Like, how did you get involved with ETH Global? Where was the introduction there?
So yeah, I mean, I definitely, well, 2020 after the pandemic, went back to spend some time with my family in Colorado, and then my parents switched time between Colorado and Hawaii. And I get the best of both worlds, cold and in paradise. And I was spending time in Hawaii when I really felt that I needed to take on my Hawaiian name, which is Shaka Lei Kaumaka, and was spending time in Hawaii when I and was blown away and fascinated by NFTs. That I knew that like because of the introduction to blockchain, I knew that NFTs were going to be a great way for me to express myself as an artist. That even while I was in Hawaii, I actually have a storage unit half full of trash in Waikiki because I was planning on doing a mural out of trash out of the ocean and make an NFT out of it, and I didn't finish it, so I just have a bunch of trash in a storage unit now. I have some instruments there too, so it's not worth keeping it. But and then I went all the way from Hawaii to ETH Dubai. I sold an NFT to actually pay for that trip. So went all the way to Hawaii to Dubai, and I'd already been to Dubai for a blockchain event that year, but I was invited and really wanted to go to ETH Dubai, so I just attended. And then that's where a good friend of mine, Janina, a blockchain girl, who she was my conference friend early on. She told me the whole schedule, like that ended up becoming. She was like a fortune teller. She like told me what my whole next year was going to look like. She was like, "Hey, there's ETH Amsterdam, then there's ETH Prague, then there's these Croatia events like Block Split, and then ETH Barcelona things coming up." Like so, like she just like listed all these things out. I was like, "What?" I'm just like, and like was at that point independent, and had been since 2020. I took the Uncle Sam unemployment, and then because of blockchain in 2020, I was actually increasing my unemployment for a little while as one of the trading degens. Army, GameStop bought me a lot of new instruments and stuff. But I was lucky, so I decided around pretty much from November until March that I was just gonna like sell everything that I was saving and accumulating and just decide to go travel. And because I was internationally working before the pandemic, I was also racking up a whole lot of bonus miles. So I actually started 2021 with 150,000 bonus miles, and had some savings from doing some trading and taking unemployment and living at my parents. So I was just like, all right, I want to be a troubadour. Like my dream was always been to just travel and play music, and I saw the best way was to educate myself. So ETH Amsterdam, my open door, and this was ironically the open door to work for my favorite band Dispatch, and now it's my open door to do all kinds of beautiful things, volunteering. So like if you ever need an open door, like volunteering is almost a door that anyone can open because there's always an opportunity to volunteer. You just gotta go look for it. And got the volunteer spot for ETH Amsterdam with a whole bunch of other people from all over the world. Fell in love instantly with the community aspect, which I didn't know about Ethereum up until I showed up at that place. And, actually, when I first walked in, I meet this tall red-haired guy named Andrew, who's one of the producers of ETH Global. And he shows me around the whole building. While he's showing around me the whole building, I'm actually carrying my ukulele, my backpack, and then this scruffy bearded guy walked up to me. He's like, "Oh, hey, I'm playing music upstairs later," and that was Justin Holmes, so then that first day I walk in the building, the Burj Bomber Lodge in Amsterdam, meet Andrew, then meet Justin, and those two guys have been pinnacle friends and brothers in the space. Andrew's like the muscle behind ETH Global, getting everything set up and running. So I love being his support force. And ironically, volunteering that event ended playing the main stage closing of DevConnect bass for Justin. Like, how does that happen? Like, it felt like a dream. I can still look back and it's like, is this reality? Like, it's 420 in Amsterdam. Like, well, what's going on? Like that week of into King's Day, and just I couldn't believe that I started off volunteering and then I ended up playing bass with Justin Holmes during the closing of DevConnect. I meet Skylar, who's the head of DevCon, and actually Andrew before that. And I think I owe Andrew a lot of gratitude and gratefulness just for like one, trusting me and like feeling out the vibes, because like I feel like Andrew and I were vibing, and then like I had all my gear with me, so I showed him a little bit downstairs in the production room, like, hey, this is a little bit what I can do, and looping. And so actually, the in the foyer in the center room, both nights of ETH Amsterdam. The first night I just did about 2 hours, but then the second night I did my first all nighter, and yeah, they let me plug in, play music, and jam out. And I had the first night I was doing more acoustic, but I had a couple guys sit down and sing with me. Kartik was there listening to me. I was just like, "What? I just saw this guy interview Vitalik on stage, and now he's just sitting here listening to me." And got to know him that night for the first time, and yeah, it was just magical. And then even during the playing music all night, there's magic moments that occur all night that I realize that those are like the magic hours of a hackathon, right? The all nighter right before judging, and like when people's like, "We gotta get this done, we gotta get this done," and it's just like, or you see them outside, they're like trying to figure out this problem, and I really realized like, oh, this is a great place for me to be like a jester in this castle of developers, and kind of, hey, total es possible. You can do it. Keep going. It's easy for me to build energy, stay awake all night, but I guess hacking away too. I mean, so I want to share that energy in the middle of the night, and I found that I love doing it. So I just kept doing it.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, something you said really like kind of sparked interest, or like as least personal to me is like when you volunteer for something, it does open a lot of doors. That's happened to me many times where like I've kind of wanted to get involved in something, and I don't necessarily want to like go 100% into it because I already have a job, or I already have like something else that's taking up a large amount of like time in my life. And so, yeah, I think you're right. Like actually taking some time to just like dedicate some of your own free time to like help other people or to be involved in that community, is like goes a long way. And it shows that you're actually like putting your foot forward, and like, you're spending some of your time to like travel somewhere and help out someone or help out other group of people or community. And it really does go a long way. So that's interesting. Um, so what is it about the ETH Global events that you love the most? I mean, you mentioned it a little bit, like the all-nighters and being able to jam, but is there anything that like really stands out that like you really look forward to it at some of the ETH Global events?
So for me, I'm going to say something that up front, I hope it actually, when it happens at an ETH Global event, you see it and you'd be like, all right, this is awesome. And I'm just going to say a long line of fist bumps is what I love. I have endless liquidity of fist bumps when I'm at ETH Global events. One of my first jobs was being a wristband checker, checking all the wristbands. So at the front door, I just said, hey, this will be easier if I just start fist bumping everybody. I can check their wristband at the same time. But then it became more than checking the wristband. It meant about giving the connection, the interaction. And so the fact that there's so many people in one spot building with the same mentality, obviously it's going to create a little bit of a line, but that big long line, see it more as a chain, right? Like it's a chain of builders and awesome things that, as people maybe have to line up to get in the building or line up to see present their judging or whatever, that's the beauty of it, is that we have so much people in one spot who are like-minded and building something together. And hey, if you're a hacker who really knows how to go from hackathon to hackathon to hackathon, you realize that, I can build one project that utilizes 3 or 4 different bounties. And then all of a sudden you win 4 bounties in one hackathon, right? So like that's also the beauty of it, is that you can build something that interacts all the different sponsors essentially, and like so it's the open source interaction between everybody being in one place all night long, eating together. Just that. I would cram. I would go. I just, like the venue. The venue often sets the vibe, but like it's the community anywhere. So like the more and more we need bigger and bigger spaces, like the faces and the conversations that are of your brothers and the like-minded and sisters in the like-minded space is what makes it so exciting.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't wait for next year to look at that schedule.
I know. I'm really excited. Luckily a lot of that stuff I think starts kind of after spring. So I think I'm pretty much going to set to try to go to like all those events, and I'm excited to hear what DevCon has to plan, because that one's kind of like a little wild card. We don't know where DevCon's going to be, but yeah, Tokyo, right? ETH Tokyo, ETH Paris. And what else was there? What else am I missing? I know there was like one other international one listed.
Tokyo, Istanbul,
Istanbul,
to Toronto, to Paris, to New York, and then whenever DevCon is. But
yes.
Istanbul is going to be awesome. I know a lot of the Mila guys from Istanbul, and a lot of hackers are from Istanbul.
Yeah.
There's a crew from on the EF DevCon scholarship team too that from Istanbul. So there's a lot of cool developers there. I'm excited for that again.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're gonna have a good year. So, and I'm looking forward to seeing your friendly face. So, you mentioned, like the fist bumps and like, let's do a virtual fist bump.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that is a really cool thing. Like being able to like, well, for me, I've met a lot of awesome people like yourself that are like passionate about kind of like the ecosystem and passionate about Ethereum and like helping other people and just like building cool stuff. Not only just building like cool technology on Ethereum, but also like just building community, right? And yeah, so I think that like for me, it was during the pandemic, I had found ETH Global Hackathons, and they were just doing all virtual at the time. And it was just amazing that they were able to create so much amazing content, workshops, ways for people to interact with the vendors, even though like people were stuck at home. And so I think, yeah, ETH Global, what it does for me is it really just opens up a lot of windows for people, and it helps people. Like I've been trying to, that's one of the big things for me lately is just getting more into public goods and more into helping people. So I've been doing a lot of volunteering for different programs to like teach people about blockchain and Ethereum. I started a nonprofit. And so like, I think ETH Global kind of lives and breathes that, right? It's an event where like, they're throwing it with the sole purpose of just like growing the community, right? And you just kind of feel that when you get there. So, yeah, I totally agree with you there. And yeah, thanks for that. So, like, I want to hear more about your NFTs, because I think that what you're doing with NFTs is awesome. Tell us a little bit about the ukulele NFT project that you had or have, and how does someone like look at your work? Like, how can they look at the NFTs or get involved with the public goods of what your NFTs are offering?
Yeah. Well, I feel like public good is good for the soul, and if you want a good place to be a good soul and do public good, doing good is a good place to do that. So yeah, doinggood.com. Just search Shaka Lei, Lei, like a Shaka Lei Kaumaka, but Shaka Lei will show it up, and that's where I'm using NFTs. They are in beta mode, and but you can still go up there and get a profile. It's open to everyone to apply and start. And what's beautiful about doing good is that you can instantly link a handful of selections like Gitcoin to this music education program called Teach Rock that they've already uploaded into getting an address and a profile. And then there's also open opportunity for collaborators while you're minting the NFT. But that you select the group that you want, and you have to actually give a minimum of like 5% to one of those charities on doing good when you're making an NFT. So you have to select something. Like Gitcoin's been a big selection for a lot of people, which is cool. And there's like 10 of them, and they're going to keep adding to that list, which is really cool. And it's just the fact, I feel like that's so cool that like that's instantly entered in there. So as soon as an NFT is sold, like that's send off to their wallet, and it's ledgered on the blockchain, right? That hey, their 5% went to the Teach Rock address, so it's all public. Like people can see. Like you can't really see all the charities in the world, their income outcome. I like working for the charity world. Like I did see that, like that. Okay, so there is that gray line of that if a charity does take 30% and use it, which is good, of the donations coming in, but the blockchain can actually be a way that if I want to say, hey, I'm using all this money towards something, you can see what comes in and you can what it comes out. You can ledger your expenses. So like pretty much public goods, I feel like will be more comfortable for people. Like people will have more trust in doing public good if it's somehow tied to the blockchain in the future, which is really exciting, I think. And so doinggood.com is where I did the ukuleles. I just said, hey, if you buy this NFT, I'm going to buy 2 ukuleles. You can take one home if you want, but if not, we're going to give them away. And we gave ukuleles away in Colombia at this place called Arroz con Leche, which is in Santa Fe, downtown, one of the rough sides of downtown Bogota. And went one day with the crew from people from DEF CON, and 2 months later, they're all in their Christmas presentation in front of all their family in a packed house playing those ukuleles for their Christmas presentation. Because one of their local volunteers was a guitar player and kept using the ukuleles. And they had tuners, bags, art materials, everything. And I had 5 years experience teaching music in Nicaragua. Was just like, it was a piece of cake for me to walk in and feel like myself again teaching music. And public goods have always made me feel good, that I want to keep doing it. But also, this is why people should be doing it, because there is a sustainability side of it, which I'm actually realizing that NFTs can be a big side of it helping. Is that the more you want to give and the more you want to do good, actually you become able to, like, the more you receive to keep doing good, right? So like I said did one good act, and then I received another opportunity to do another big good act, and then I received a scholarship from DevCon to go to DevCon and do another good act, and then so like this idea of giving becomes that sustainable act where then you receive. But rather than when it's like, all right, what's my salary going to be? What are you going to give me before I do this? That's what volunteering is not. Volunteering is like, all right, I'm just going to show up and I'm going to give, and then you receive, right? So like when it's that other opposite direction of take. So that's where I feel like the block, like going back to my introduction or the little bio that I actually have that in my Doing Good bio, that an ecosystem is by definition like a biological community of interacting organisms. We as the human organism, so that ecosystem becomes more sustainable the more that we're all able to interact with each other at an equal playing field. The interacting organisms. So that's sustainable ecosystem through blockchain. It's not that blockchain is the answer. No, blockchain is just a way that we can be interacting with each other. We are the answer. We are the human organism. We are what makes up the ecosystem. It's the community. It's us humans. So it's not like, hey, we have to convert the whole world. No, it's just an adoption of more technological gifts that we can. And hey, to be honest, cryptography is the pinnacle of human evolution. It powers our satellites. I'm so jealous that I don't even know how to write a line of code, but it's totally a public good what you do, Kevin. I'm going to vamp on you. Kevin teaches Solidity in all these classes. He goes and teaches workshops at ETH Global Hackathons. He volunteers, and he's the most incredible photographer. Takes incredible photos while he's at the multi-talented.
Thank you, Shaka. You're too kind. But I what you're saying is totally resonating with me, because I feel like, blockchain is just this kind of like catalyst, and like, you can build like a shitcoin on Ethereum network, or you could build something awesome that's like a regenerative public good platform. And we're seeing a lot of that, right? We're seeing a lot of like really good stuff that's coming out of like the technology. Gitcoin, Juicebox is another one, Doing Good. And so there's all these really cool platforms, and like I really, really like the project that you did with the ukuleles. Thanks for listening to this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by SpeedRunEthereum. If you want to test your abilities, please go to SpeedRunEthereum.com, and you can learn how to build on Ethereum easily and quickly. Let's go back to our podcast. Hey, welcome back. So before we took a small break there, we were talking a little bit about kind of like NFTs and like what your plans were for kind of the future and what you want to do in terms of music NFTs. So maybe you can kind of tell some listeners how they can kind of like follow you, or like what your plans are for the next year with NFT projects and Doing Good.
Cool. So yeah, I definitely plan to release lots of NFTs on Doing Good the next year that hopefully will continue to do good. The ukulele project will continue. I numbered them 1 through 12 because there will be 13 on to hopefully hundreds of ukuleles that get given away. And I did yesterday, in celebration of the ukuleles that were given away in Colombia, I decided to do a gift NFT, NFT gift one, where I did a collection of 2022 NFTs, 2022 editions of one NFT. That the content is just the kids playing music in the lesson where I gave the ukuleles away in Bogota, and then at the very end they're actually using it in their Christmas presentation, playing for all their family, and was able to upload their address so that it's 50-50 royalty on the real sale with Rose Con Leche, the foundation that got the ukuleles, and they gave me the approval. They like the address, and I actually want to go back to Colombia as well to keep playing music with those kids because feels good, and doing good feels good, right? So everyone should be doing good because it feels good, and the 2022 NFT or edition, like it's free, right? So this was like a little strategy I had. So like I gave this free NFT. It's kind of a really cool occurrence. Ukuleles being given away after DevCon, maybe a rare occurrence of sorts. And let's just say that all 2,000 people were able to say, go be like spread the word, do good, maybe sell it for $100. And then that 30%, we actually, so it's a higher royalty. I put the royalty at 30% because there's 3 different parties. It's actually going to be 12% for a Rose Con Leche, 12% for me, and then like 6 for Teach Rock, which was, I don't have a relationship with Teach Rock. They're just they're the one that already has a profile of Doing Good. So like I said, if you're a charity, you can go get a profile on Doing Good, so that you can be one of the selections that automatically upload the good part, public good part of an NFT sale. And I like I said, you write it in the NFT contract. You have to stick to your word. You have to follow through. I mean, you don't want to be a rug pull, and they are going to start automatically pulling those rugs up, right? Like if there's a bunch of dirt under the rug, then they're just going to start pulling those rugs. Like there's, the fire that's coming is going to be a good thing because it's going to refine the space, and you're going to see where the true finds are, where the true good is, where the true value is. And so if I'm writing this in my NFT contract, it's like more of a contract that I'm putting over myself. Like, hey, I have to give ukuleles away. I will give ukuleles away. So I'm following through with that. But then, so let's just say, yeah, like 2,000 people are able to give away my NFT for a little bit. Maybe that's a little cool fundraiser. So I think that the more it's about giving, the more I'll keep receiving, because to me it hasn't proven myself, because don't have a big following as a musician like Mike. I play for a small community, and I play for friends, and I play for family. I don't have a following. I have 500 followers on Twitter. Twitter's a good place to follow me. It's the only place I really am marketing myself, and I market myself very little. But so how is that going to be sustainable for NFTs, for the independent artist, for the small guy, for the little artist that just wants to bless their community? And that's the idea, that you don't have to be a big marketing project. You just need that small little community, and the NFTs the catalyst. And it won't be fully sustainable to like sell 5,000 generative NFTs and try and make $1 million every NFT project, like a lot of the projects are shooting for, because the bull market run up and all the hype of the last year. No, it needs to be brought down to a simple thing. Vitalik said this in Mexico, which was very inspiring at ETH Mexico. He said we need more NFTs for public goods. And and then I became great friends with Manu just before then at ETH Barcelona, and Manu's the founder of Doing Good, mi hermano. And so the idea of giving and doing good with the NFT is really exciting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll make sure that we put your Twitter in the show notes, and we'll also leave a link to Doing Good. And then where can people find the free NFT? Is it still available for free, or has it been minted out, or like what's the status of that?
Like I said, I'm not very good at marketing myself, so I don't think very many people has even minted the free NFTs. So yeah, they're on the top of the Doing Good profile, um, and Doing Good is where I will focus all my NFTs. Uh, I guess I mean there is a little bit part of the game of like trying to get people excited. So maybe one reason to get people excited about my NFTs is I have a small conspiracy, Kevin, and you maybe can help me check this on this because I don't know how to read the smart contracts as well or find the smart contracts. But I truly believe that there is a smart contract on the blockchain, an IPFS file that proves I am the first person to create a music video NFT.
Oh, nice. Okay, we'll have to look. We'll have to dig into that.
I'm not completely certain, but the two
Okay.
people that are claiming on the internet via article did it after me,
Okay.
and it
All right.
counts. I did it on Phantom right after the thing, but the platform got shut. It's like not active anymore. The minting platform, so it's not for listed right now. But the contract
Mm-hmm.
still exists, and it was on IPFS,
Ah.
so I'm sure the content file still exists. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I did that early December a year ago. So this is a fun reunion of how the NFTs has taken me a year now, from just figuring it out to traveling the world. So yeah,
It's definitely a journey. You know, you go down this rabbit hole, all right, of crypto, and like you find this kind of little niche, and I guess that's actually a good segue to my next question. Is like, I think that like you're right, 100%. Like public goods are a very like important part of NFTs, because they have this kind of like natural, like you said, embedded in the smart contract, a way to kind of like help prop up some kind of community, or help people in need, or whatever it is that you're trying to do with those public goods. But I also think that like just in general, like music is a good platform for NFTs as well. And so, where do you see the music industry going in the future when it comes to NFTs? And I guess we're stepping a little aside from like the public good stuff, but like, do you see that like the music industry as you know it being transformed eventually by NFTs, or do you think it's just like NFTs are, for these little funny JPEGs, and like maybe some like the doing good stuff and the public goods, and maybe there's some like utility tokens and soulbound tokens, but do you see that maybe music NFTs are going to take off?
I think um, NFTs in general are going to take off, and I came to a point halfway through my journey where I quit calling myself an NFT artist. Um, because I saw that the true point of adoption was I wanted all artists to know that there's no difference. It's a catalyst, like you said, of communication. And so I think that there's can be many different things done with music NFTs that I think it will blow up. But I also go back and forth because like what if we bring up the concept that music is a public good, right? So I want everyone to be able to hear my music, or I want to play music for as many people as I can. And so the more and more that events or music is happening can be accessible to more people, as well as just the music be available. Well, public data, I think, the music will be data, and I think the more and more data is public, it's a public chain. So like if music is just written on the chain, I think the music should be available to everybody. Like anyone should be able to listen to it, receive it, and that's part of the public good side of it, is that music is a medicine. So then what brings it back to then? Well, then I think I feel like artists really need to be creative in how they're sustaining and building community. If you've got the asset of a big you're selling out venues, and you've got the backstage pass, or if you're, I want to see more kids in high school do an NFT project just to, you know, raise $1,000 within their school to go do a public good thing, right? That's what I want to see more kids get excited about NFTs. Is not trying to feel like they have to make it, right? There's not this idea of making it in the music industry. You can make an NFT. That's like what I'm excited about the blockchain in general, is that anyone can give and contribute and build on it because it's open source. Like a kid all the way in a rough side or in a developing country, that if he can just get access to internet and the computer, he could build something that interacts with someone in San Francisco and Palo Alto. So that's the level playing field, that you don't have to make it and become a famous musician to make an NFT. No, you can just make an NFT and then go try and sell that NFT in your own community. So the contract and what you do with it, that's the creative side. But the music itself, it's going to be more accessible and just a public good.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think you're 100% right. And I think we'll continue to see that, it was just like with computers. When computers first came out, it really helped a lot of people that just normally didn't have access to, that level of technology. When they actually got access to it, it opened up a lot of doors and windows for them, right? Same thing goes for like blockchain. I think as we start to kind of like grow adoption and knowledge and that kind of stuff, it'll kind of naturally prop up. So I guess what are you most excited for in 2023? We have obviously all the ETH Global events, which are going to be a lot of fun. But is there anything that you're just looking forward to in the coming year, whether it be crypto or just something cool in your life? What are you excited for?
I actually am going to put myself out there and look for some remote work. I mentioned that I had some savings, and I took a chance of going on the big journey the last year, and did a lot of it volunteering. Towards the end, got a couple grants, and then the scholarship. But I would love to not settle into one place and keep kind of following the blockchain pop-ups as they go from like Paris to New York to whatever, and keep playing music. But the best way for me to maybe make that sustainable is find a remote job. So absolutely, number one, the first jobs I'm going to be applying for is ETH Global. I'm going to be applying for some of the positions that they have open. If I don't get it, then I'll still be showing up as a volunteer, and they do support their volunteers. If I maybe have to get more creative with figuring out, maybe it could be destination based for NFTs that I create. Like, hey, this is an NFT project to help take me to Tokyo. And then that's the utility. Because, for instance, Threshold gave me a grant to help me go to ETH Barcelona to play with Justin, and then I tagged on ETHCC, and then I got a second grant because I was stuck in Paris at my cousin's. That took me from took the bus over to Germany to go to ETH Mexico, and then back to Germany, which I was there for ETH ETH Berlin during the merge, and then got the scholarship. So like, there was a point where it was just like I didn't know how I was going to get to the next place each month, but like, and then a grant came or the scholarship came, and I was able to get to the next destination. So if it was like an NFT that I like created rather than a grant proposal, that could actually be kind of cool, because then the DAO still owns an asset, and maybe it could hold value in the future rather than just writing off the. So that could be something that I approach too. But I'm excited. Yeah, like it's uncertain, but I'm excited to keep the journey going. I'm a ETH troubadour or a blockchain troubadour. I'm not. Yeah, like it's not just Ethereum; it's all blockchain. But you got to find the right community, and the ETH community has really made me feel welcome, and I've made so many good friends like yourself, Kevin. So.
Yeah. Well, good luck to you on that. I think that would be a really great decision for you, and it would be a great pathway for you, right, to do something like that. They would be, great to have you. So I'm wishing you luck there. What would you recommend to people? Because I know a lot of people listening to this podcast probably are kind of either a little bit involved in like the crypto space, or maybe maybe they've kind of heard of like hackathons, or they've heard about like Ethereum and like, but what would you recommend to people that are listening that really want to get a little bit more involved in crypto or even learn more about it, like get some more knowledge in the space?
Yeah, I mean, I learning about it is always better, and for me, it's always been better in person. I've actually like prefer sometimes to find out about different startups or projects or even some of the sponsors by in person walking around asking questions. So there's lots of meetups that occur in all places. I just found out one in Denver where there's a meetup. Um, if there is like one of the events, so like you know, finding a way for IRL, in real life education, as well as programs like yourself, Kevin, where you get free education with qualified people. So like the people that are charging, like, hey, pay me $200 to learn about crypto, or pay me $400 and I'll teach you how to get rich in crypto. Stay away. Guys like Kevin Jones, hey, free Solidity class. you know, these are the types of things you want to look for: is the genuine side of it, the people who are transparent and not afraid to show who they are. And go to those people and just learn about them. I even, like, because I was introduced through Wences of Zappo. I think I was even definitely following people who are transparent, public in the space, and I think I look up to a lot of people. I'm kind of a fanboy of everybody in life in general, but like I definitely I'm a fan of a lot of people in blockchain space. So find people who you are a fan of and follow them.
Yeah. I mean, that was definitely one of the things for me is like, as I started learning, I, got on YouTube and started following a lot of like, crypto developers like Nader Dabit, Austin Griffith. Um, uh, there's a handful. There's lots of them. Eat the Blocks is another one that I watched for a while, and so that for me that was a really good gateway. Is like following like, well, what are these interesting people that are like kind of, I want to say they're influencers, but they're really just not influencers. They're just like highly involved in the community, and what they're doing. And so that was part of my strategy as well when I wanted to get into it. And then of course, like coming to real events is on the ground, like meeting people face to face and like making friends and connections, like yourself, Shaka, has just been like really rewarding for me. And then also, yeah, like being involved in some way, like, for you, it's like the public goods and the music and the volunteering. For me, it's I try to teach. And for anyone listening that wants to know what that's about, there's Growic.com is like a free Solidity developer track, and you could go to Growic.com and learn Solidity over the period of 8 to 12 weeks, depending on the program that you sign up for. But it's just a free education platform for Solidity, 100% free. And I also try to do that stuff on like YouTube as well. And so yeah, I think like that's really great advice. Is just like get involved in the community, learn from people that are kind of like actively involved. Go to some real events. Especially ETH Global events, so that you can meet me and Shaka, and we can jam together. Even though I'm not really great at any instruments, but I'll try to jam with you next time we're there. Okay, great. So like, yeah, I guess one more last question. Like, other than music, what else do you like doing outside of like Web3 and outside of like tech? Like, is there any like hobbies you have, or anything that you really, really enjoy?
Well, I wasn't planning on doing a whole lot of it this year, but my dad just gave me the most epic Christmas gift of a ski pass to go skiing with him. So I love skiing. I'll be doing some skiing during
Nice.
Denver, and then all throughout the year. Even maybe it's an icon pass. So maybe I'll try and go skiing a little bit before ETH Tokyo. Go out to
Oh,
Tokyo early and
nice.
do some skiing. But I
So
love to
for
ski.
anyone
I love
listening,
the
what is an
mountain. Love
icon
nature.
pass?
I'm mountain and beach.
What,
Like I'm a decent surfer, but I'm not a good surfer. Like I can just stand up on a longboard and enjoy myself, but like skiing, I can challenge myself and try and hurt myself. So my brother
nice.
lives up there.
So
He's a full-time skier.
what is the icon pass? Sorry for anyone
It's
new.
it includes Winter Park and Copper. It's like a ski pass but they actually give you 10 days. So on my ski pass, if I choose, I can get like 8 days at an international place like Tokyo.
That's simply amazing. All right,
Yeah.
cool. So maybe we'll go skiing in Tokyo then.
Yeah, let's go skiing in Tokyo.
If there's still snow.
If there's still
But I'm sure there, yeah. Well, hey, Shaka, before I go, like, how can people learn more about you? Like, where would you recommend people go to help support your journey in public goods and just in general? Just where can people learn about you?
Um, well, I hope I'm excited to share this podcast. I'd love to keep doing more podcasts. Maybe do Twitter is definitely where I maybe communicate the most, and you can also send me messages on Telegram. It's all the same. I ironically have some bots out there all of a sudden since DEF CON, so there are some fake Shaka Lei Kaumakas. It's like choosing my Hawaiian name because it's unique. My doc's name is Jordan Ham. I'm not afraid to dox myself, and I do believe that I'm just going to keep doing lots of IRL opportunities. So join the open source jam. You don't have to be a musician to join the open source jam, just like you don't have to be a full-time full stack developer to join a hackathon. You can go and learn, or you can go and volunteer. You can start in the space ground up. You can join one of my jams from the ground up and just grab one of the jumps. So come jam, and yeah, let's keep it going.
Awesome. Well, Shaka, I just want to really thank you again for coming on. It's really been a pleasure, like talking to you on the podcast, and even just getting to know you a little bit more. When I usually see you at the events, I'm sometimes running around and constantly busy. So it's been great to kind of just get to know you a little bit more and learn about the projects you've been working on. So thank you so much for all you do, and yeah, I'm excited to see you at the next ETH Global event.
Yeah, mahalo, Kevin. Thank you, brother. Excited to see you there. Let's
Shoots,
go.
shoots
Aloha.
better.
Cheers.